So today's video is about pornography. I'm not sure you already seen 100 videos on YouTube about this. Oh, pornography is destroying my life. How to quit porn? How to win this battle? No. I'm not gonna make the same video you've seen 100 times. I'm not gonna tell you that porn will destroy your life. I'm not gonna tell you that you're ruining your brain. I'm not gonna tell you that this will destroy your future if you want to get married and have a family. No. Even if I listed all the negative effects, you already know all of them. What's the point? Have you ever seen a smoker quit because they saw an ugly picture on the cigarette box? That person didn't stop smoking. So why do you think you're going to stop just because you saw another video about the negative effects? The reality is, you don't stop because you don't want to. That's the pure reality. How many times have you promised yourself, okay, I'm going to change. This time is for real. Now I'm going to make it different. I'm gonna do it. You make a promise and you don't keep it. On YouTube, there are thousands of coaches telling you that pornography damages your brain, your relationship, that you became antisocial, shy, lazy, dumber, that everything in your life starts to feel boring, that it destroys your productivity. So allow me to bring a different perspective to this problem. Allow me to show you where this little game will take you by sharing a bit of my own story. I want to be completely honest with you. I'm not a coach, I'm not a guru. I'm just a guy who was stuck in this trap for years. And I want to talk about how I got out. For me, and I think for most people, my first contact was probably around 13 years old. Just out of curiosity on the internet. It wasn't a big deal at first, but the habit really took hold later. In my late teens, when I first went to college, that was a time of high stress, a lot of pressure to succeed, and even though I was surrounded by people, I often felt lonely. Pornography, it became my way to escape at the end of a long stressful day. A way to turn off my brain without needing to talk to anyone. And I told myself all the lies. I said, everyone does this. It's normal, it's a healthy way to explore my sexuality. It's not hurting anyone. I'm just relaxing. But slowly I start to notice things. Things in the real world start to feel dull. My motivation to work on my goals, the things I was once excited about, start to fade. I wanted to go out with friends less and less. I prefer to stay home. Conversation with real people, especially in romantic situations, start to feel like too much effort. The hobbies that used to bring me joy start to feel boring. It was like the color was draining from my life. So I started to wonder, why was this happening to me? Why did I feel so stuck? And I did some reading and I want to explain what I found in a simple way. Imagine your brain has a scale, a balance. On one side is pleasure, on the other is pain. When you do something you enjoy, like eating a great meal, the scale tips to pleasure side. But your brain loves balance, so it adds a little weight to the pain side just to even things out. That's why you feel a little bit down when the meal is over. Now, with internet pornography, it's not a little bit of pleasure, it's a pleasure bomb. The scale crashes down on the pleasure side. Your brain panics and throws a huge weight on the pain side to try and find some balance. And that huge weight isn't a small feeling. It's anxiety. It's brain fog. It's a lack of motivation. It's like feeling bad for no reason. And when you feel that bad, what's the easiest way to get a quick hit of pleasure to feel good again? Simple. You go back to the source. And the cycle just gets worse and worse. And what makes so powerful today is that it's not like it was 30 years ago. Now we have three things that make it almost impossible to resist. Unlimited new things to see, 24/7 assets on your phone, and it requires zero effort. Your brain, which is still very primitive, thinks you've won the lottery of life. It thinks you are the king of the world. So it stops giving you motivation to do anything in the real world. Why would do it? In its logic, you already succeeded. And that's exactly where I was. Stuck. My brain thought I was a king, but I felt like a prisoner in my own room. My turning point wasn't something big, dramatic event. It was a quiet, empty moment. I remember it was so clear. It was a Saturday night. My friends had invited me out, but I made an excuse to stay home. I spent hours in that meaningless cycle of scrolling and watching. Afterwards, I was just lying in my bed in the dark and I felt nothing. Not pleasure, not relaxation, not happiness. Just a deep, hollow emptiness. I realized that I had traded a night of real memories, real laughter, and real connection for this nothing. And in that quiet moment, I asked myself a question. What am I doing? This thing that promised so much pleasure had stolen all my joy. It had stolen my night, my energy, and my ability to feel good. My decision in that moment was not, I will never do this again. That's too much pressure. It was simpler. It was, I want my life back. I want to feel real joy again. I don't want to know how, but tomorrow I'll try something different. So, what was that something different? Well, the first thing I realized was that I had to stop the cycle. I had to stop giving my brain that huge, artificial hit of pleasure. I decided to take a break. Some people call it a dopamine fast, but all it really means is stepping away from it for a while. And I want to be realistic with you here. I didn't tell myself I'm going to quit for 90 days. That felt impossible. I just told myself, I'm gonna try for 1 week. Just 1 week. And I did it. It felt so good. So I said, okay, let's try for 2 weeks. And then I got some small victories. This isn't an all or nothing game. If you try and you fail, the worst thing you can do is blame yourself. Guilt just sends you right back into the cycle. You just have to analyze what happened, learn from it, and start again. To make it easier, I had to change my environment. I started leaving my phone charging in living room at night, never in my bedroom. That was a huge one. I also stopped taking my phone to the bathroom. You have to create barriers, make it harder to just fall into the habit without thinking. And I started paying attention to my triggers. I got a notebook and just wrote down when I felt the urge. Was I bored? Was I stressed? Lonely? And once I knew my triggers, I could make a plan. If I was bored, I would do 10 push-ups. If I was stressed, I would go for a 5-minute walk. It sounds simple, but having a plan is everything. So taking a breaking was the first step. But then I realized something that was a real game changer for me. Remember that pleasure pain scale? I learned that to help you to get better, to balance faster, you have to voluntarily add a little bit of health control effort to your life. When you do something that's uncomfortable but good for you, your brain rewards you with its quick on dopamine. And it's a much more stable, long-lasting feeling. It's the opposite of the quick high and the miserable crash. So what did I do? For me, the biggest thing was exercise. I started exercising more intensely. Not just going for a walk, but really pushing myself. That feeling of being out of breath, of your muscles burning. It's a healthy way to get your brain to reward you. It gives your brain the satisfaction it's craving, but in a way that actually makes you stronger. And besides that, I started embracing things that were difficult in general. I tried to read challenging books instead of scrolling social media. I tried to learn new frustrating skills. Yeah, anything that requires effort and focus works. You're basically teaching your brain to find satisfaction in effort, not just in easy pleasure. So, by taking a break and adding these health discomforts, I wasn't just running away from a bad habit. I felt like I was actively building a new brand. But here's a key lesson I learned. An addiction hates empty space. You can't just take something away. You have to put something in its place. All the time and energy I was wasting, I had to redirect it. For me, I started learning how to edit videos, and that eventually led me to start this very channel. I replaced a secret shame with a public passion. I found something I was proud to work on. Having a goal that was bigger than my addiction was so important. It helped me break the power of the secret and the shame on my own, because my focus was on creating something, not on hiding something. My fight was a personal one, but was a fight I was finally winning. And I want to be clear, I still have hard days. I'm not perfect, but now I have tools. I know what to do when I feel triggered or down. And most importantly, I know that the satisfaction of building a real life is infinitely better than the cheap pleasure of an artificial escape. So, what does this all mean for you? In the end, this isn't about becoming a monk or hating sex. It's about taking back control. It's about choosing where your energy, your focus, and your attention will go. It's about trading cheap instant pleasure for the deep long-lasting satisfaction of building a life that you're actually proud of. And your journey starts now, not tomorrow, not next Monday. Now, I want you to choose one thing from our conversation today and apply it. Just one. Maybe it's leaving your phone in the living room tonight. Maybe it's just writing down your triggers in a notebook. And I want you to comment below what your first step will be. Let's create a community of people who are taking back control, one small step at a time. And if this conversation helped you, please leave a like so more people can find it. And if you want to continue to involve with us, subscribe to the channel. Please guys, this helps a lot. The journey is long, but you don't have to walk alone. And see you next one.